YouTube, welcome back to part 2 of the Honda Fireblade track day, barn find, rebuild, refurb, restoration thing. In this episode I've bought some bits for the bike. I'll show you now. So I bought like an engine service kit, fairly generic, and a carb rebuild kit, and I'm hoping to get all of those, or take the bike apart and sort of make a judge as to what I think it needs, and then yeah, I'll sort of fill you in what I'm doing on that. I'll show you the bike now. Being a Japanese bike that's stored for many years, it's not, you haven't actually got to worry too much. There's a few things that go. The clutch plates will be stuck together. The throttle inlet rubbers will be rock hard, probably need replacing. The carbs will have grown a new type of algae that could wipe out planet Earth, and the forks will be a bit pitted. So that's what I'm expecting, which I'm going to take apart today. Oh, the tank's got rust in it, so you might have seen earlier some citric acid. I've heard if you put boiling water and citric acid in a rusty tank and slosh it around, you can kill yourself. Or it might remove some of the rust. So we'll see. Here's the bike. I have given it a light jet wash just to get some of the barn fuzz off of it. And it came up pretty well. There's no like horrors. There's a little graze on the case here, which we can live with. I think it's not gonna lose too much sleep over that. It's already had a race loom fitted, so there's very little to look at under the seat. It's sort of quite chopped back. Someone's chopped away at it to make it racy and cool, which is a shame. Yeah, as the guy said, there's a nice ding in the silencer there, but other than that, it's in lovely original fettle. It's had the alternator removed, so it's total loss. Haven't had the tank off yet, so there'll be a premiere when that happens. And yeah, I've got a bit of dust off it. It seems pretty clean. Yeah, you can tell just by looking at the side of that engine sort of how nice this bike is, because if it had been a road bike, this would all be scuzzy. Well, that's gone quite scuzzy considering, but that paint just falls off under my fingernail. But yeah, lovely Harris rear sets. Right, I'm going to start taking this bike apart. Time for a montage. Going to start that again. Just a small word of advice for someone. I'm now at the carbs level, so I've taken the airbox off. I'm quite prolific for just running a hot air gun over all of these pipes, just gently from afar, 4 or 5 inches away. Just hover hot air over them, get them up to some temperature above ambient, because yeah, if you're disturbing rubber that hasn't moved for 20 years, you could get yourself into a whole lot of issues. All these little like plastic spigots are just a pain in the arse to replace and find. So yeah, always twist them before, if you can, twist them side to side and then ease them off slowly, and you'll stand a better chance of not cracking the rubbers and just keeping it all alive. So bit of advice, go in with a hot air gun before you do anything to your rubbers. Same with the inlet rubbers, just hot air gun all over and just massage it out. Don't try and shock these rubbers, they can get quite brittle. Alright Grandad, finished. So I think I've got the first problem, which I've only just realised, is the throttle cables appear to be stuck. I can't move them at all. So that's that'll be in the carbs, that'll be coming apart. We'll lube it up and then I'll jab my fingers inside of it. In losers, so I've got the carbs off now. I've had to take off the rubbers with the carbs because there's just no access to these. I don't know how a human does. I mean, that one's missing. So there's that. I've also, because I'm dyspraxic, I've put an F on this throttle cable so I know it goes in this one. I've then tried to type an F here and failed. Dyspraxia. Because I would have got those round the wrong way and I'd be pulling my throttle open and closing it, I don't know, the reverse of whatever. So I'm going to get the throttle cables off, get these carbs on the bench. Might take this the cam cover off, because these will be bone dry. So if I do try and start it today or turn it over, these will want a load of oil drizzling over the cams because it hasn't had oil up there in ages, and drizzled over the chain, and a general inspection. That does also mean I'll have to take the clutch out and rip and soak all the basket and the plates and the friction plates, but it's fine. All needs doing. It's all good stuff. Have a look at them bores down there. I mean, it's not ported, but there's no rust. Nothing really too worrying on this engine. Oh, I've got BFJ82 and I've got no signs or markings on the carbs. Sometimes people put like, you know, the amount of screws or the jets in there or something, but nothing. We'll see. We'll see what happens when I open them up. Okay, so I have done the sort of initial disassembly. Pretty simple. I have the carbs, which I'm going to rebuild, I think, first. No, I'll get some stuff going before then. So before then, oh, have a look at this. It's horrible. So the tank. If you just look at the petcock at the bottom of the tank in here, there's a nice amount of gunge and fluff and general gunge. This tank, we'll try and salvage it, we'll do our best, but it might be a life component. The radiator, very happy with. You can still see through the fins. This is rusted in, they always do, so I get some heat on that. Airbox is an airbox. Exhaust system, it's stainless. I thought it might be titanium, but it is stainless. So I use the Sillet Bang 10 times stronger bleach with some water, just soak it all apart. All of these joints are fixed, they're rusted in. So 20 minutes of that, make some bad gases, that'll all loosen up and come apart. Be nice to get the silencer off as well, just so I can repack it. And yeah, the engine probably needs another clean, so I might take this outside and give it another jet wash now, access to it, and just give it a proper thorough degreasing. Some of the studs stayed in, one of the studs stayed in, all the others came out. But it's only got 7,000 miles on it, so it disassembled relatively easily, all the fasteners communicated. Nothing's gone bad. Oh fuck, touch wood. Touch wood so far. Yeah, what am I doing first? I'm going to cover that in bleach, that takes a while. I might acid the tank at the same time outside, and then take the carbs apart in the meantime. Put the kettle on. Lovely. This turns out he's been running this bike on like mild, you know, London Pride, Newcastle Brown. The state of it, absolutely horrible. So I've been looking at this tank, getting more and more shit out of it. I've been putting in some water, and in there I've seen floating around some like cornflake sized bits of rust, and this is the petcock for it. It was this brass pipe here is sort of normal running. That when you go on reserve, it takes from the base of it. This was full of like some beigey gunk, and it's full up to here with beigey gunk, and it goes around this corner, and I can't clear out this passage. Funny. So this petcock is impossible to clean now. It's riveted on this front plate, so I can't disassemble it without needing to re-rivet it. I'm not going to do. So I need a new one of these anyway. I think I'm just going to get a new tank. It's got dents in it, it's got a bit of gravel rash, it's full of rust. Cut your losses. I could be here for hours and hours and hours making that really bad tank average. I'll just do a bit of shopping on eBay, I think. We'll move on to the carbs. granddad advice for you here. So this has got stock screws on it. These are the JIS or Phillips crosshead screws. JIS screws mean the between the sort of 4 teeth there should be nothing in the root here. Other screwdrivers are available. Let me just find one. No, that's JIS as well. It's always when you want something, you can't fucking... A better YouTuber would have... Fuck it, whatever. Use the right screwdrivers. These are all the right screwdriver tips for these. Someone's had a nice go at these, but they're pretty fresh. If you're undoing them and they don't undo, take your time, get a little tap hammer, just give it 4 or 5 taps. Try tightening it instead of loosening it, and then finally just make sure you put all of your weight. So I've got a soft cloth beneath these carbs so I don't score the tops of them. But I like to put my shoulder on the end of the screwdriver, put all your weight in, and then load the torque up. Otherwise you'll just ravage the screw head, and you'll have to take it to your mate like me who can actually undo bolts. So yeah, lots of pressure, get it right in there, and then turn it to prevent ravaging bolt heads. A tip and trick, so whenever I do carbs, I like to have either use the carb bowls themselves as a storage place or little buckets for each carb, just in line with the carb they're from. When they're upside down only, don't get confused when you flip them. So keep them upside down for now. Just going to do the bottom halves and rebuild them that way. Doing the mixture screws now. It's worth remembering that you should screw these all the way in until you get to a hard stop and count the number of turns. Just on this one it's 2.5, so write that on its little box. And then I've got the perfect tool, which is a screwdriver. I don't know if you can focus on that, but a screwdriver with a little sort of hook in it, and that goes down there and it just grabs the O-ring and the metal washer. So at the end of a mixture screw there's a rubber O-ring and a metal washer in that order. So it goes mixture screw, spring, metal washer, rubber O-ring. And yeah, people often take this screw out, put an airline through it and blow these tiny little things all over the floor, and if you haven't got them in the kit, this kit's quite thorough, it'll probably have them, you can really fuck yourself. Yeah, that's that really. Keep it in order, know what you're doing, take photos if you need, but it's piece of piss really. You need a 7mm spanner for the emulsion tubes, which is that one there, which is what the main jet sits in. This is like a pre-mixing tube with some small holes in. Pilots are a flathead. This one's pressed in, so you can't take that out. And yeah, we'll just go through it all, clean it, gunk it up, make sure it looks nice, and yeah, it looks like we're running number 122 jets. I'll have to look what jet sizes we've got in there. Leave it as it is, I guess. Just clean up the original jets, so just a piece of metal, and see how we get on. This is the summary of the strip down. I think in terms of like how bikes are, I've just got very lucky. This has been a complete piece of piss. No surprises, no weird bolts in weird places. The condition's incredible, and it all came apart really well. There's a bit of varnishing as you expect. All the working stuff, we've got replacements. All the diaphragms are in good nick. The slides were stuck in. If you look inside of the grooves, inside the grooves where the slides are, there's this like tar build up, this like black, horrible gooey stuff, which we're going to get rid of. So this is just now a case of like degunking, loads of carb spray, bit of rag, move it all, make sure these air jets are clear, then go through the kits, go see what I have actually got, just to make sure I've got bits I need. There's these O-rings here, which are probably either for the T's in between, or potentially sometimes this brass bit, the guide for the needle. Does it press out? No, it doesn't. That's it there, I think. Yeah, it would be there. Yes, there's a few things we're not going to use, which is fine. We'll put it back together, and if it pisses out fuel, then I know I should have used them, really. And you kind of live life on the edge. And yeah, lovely condition, really, really nice nick. Yeah, I've done well here. So, in case anyone's wondering, I've just put a load of muck off, or like snow foam detergent on them, soak them all in foam for a little while, just to get any light grease off. This is like the early phases, just to make sure you're working with something clean, and then we go in with like carb cleaner and some clean rag to get rid of the varnish, and blow out all of the holes. Blow holes. The benefit is the pre-cleaning and soaking tends to sort of soften things up for the carb cleaner. I'll just show you, this stuff works really nicely. I mean, In there's a bit of varnish in the corner. That's now just gone, and that kind of just repeats. So these, so there's some varnish. Now clean. This is satisfying. This is why we work on bikes, because you get to remove brown bogey stuff and unveil some beautiful blue, like silver die-cast shininess, and I love it. I love cleaning shit off of metal. So, fuck yeah, man. Bear Grylls on this system now. So the air jets, excuse me, the air jets at the front. These ones here, these 4 brass ones on each carb. They they're not playing ball. They're like 50% blocked. Half of them are just completely blocked off. Half of them have like a partial flow. So obviously that tarry stuff is built up in the air jets, and it's absolutely key. They're flowing beautiful amounts of metered air. So I've got them in this sort of like small jug. I'm going to fill it with boiling water. Hopefully the water line will just go over the air jets like that. A little bit more, I think. And we'll just soak them in hot water. There is a bit of soap in there, a bit of detergent. See a bit of bubble coming through that one, it's nice, it's good to see. And we'll just soften it up really, like a pot noodle. Take it out of here, blast it through again, and we'll repeat this until they're clear. They've got to be clear. Every single air jet's got to be absolutely perfectly clear. Otherwise you're wasting your time. So I'm not even going to open the rebuild kit until I've got all the metal work flowing nicely. With a bit more money and time, I'd go and buy myself a nice big heated, ultrasonic cleaner and do this. But even that, it shakes it ultrasonically and it removes dirt from sort of walls. But orifices are quite difficult to clean because you need to loosen up what's in there, then put pressure across them to flow it out. So ultrasonically can loosen up, but you still need to be, quite diligent with an air gun to get it out. I've sold my compressor, so I haven't got any way of cleaning these properly. So I'm just using the pressure from a spray can, which is a bit shit, but I'm shit, so get used to it. Boop. On this episode of Breaking Bad, I'm going to cook some meth. No, but I am going to put some citric acid and some boiling water in a bucket and try and dissolve some rust off of an exhaust. I'll let you know how it goes. You want to be quite accurate on like the measurements. Make sure you don't put too much in, otherwise you can end up with quite a strong solution that can burn your face off. So just take all the precautions. Make sure you're wearing face masks, eye goggles and gloves, otherwise you could really hurt yourself. Next little summary. So I've finished cleaning. Took a long time. This is how the front of the engine looks. It's not great. It's always a bit of an issue with like motorbikes. The front of the engines get all the road gush, and people can't be asked to take their exhaust pipes off for fear of snapping studs, so they don't get cleaned. And when you do have to clean them, it's 5 or 6 attempts, and it's just a test of patience. You could be here all day making that look a bit nicer, but I'm going to stop there and settle. The exhaust pipes are cleaning up well. There's lots of chemistry going on in here. I think you can't see any more bubbles, so I think that's all the chemicals used. Let's have a little look. Oh, I've only been in there 2 minutes. Oopsie. Alright. I mean, I would say that's made fuck all difference, really. The billet, the Sillet Bang bleach, 10 times bleach, works a treat. So I thought I'd give this a go, but I'm not overwhelmed. I might brush it off and see if I can liven it up a bit, but there's a better rust cleaner. Nasty, I don't know if you heard that. Nice little back chat on the exhaust. What's there to do now? Just keep on cleaning the carbs out until I'm happy with them. Rebuild them, and then I don't know what to do then. I'll have a little think. On the bike, so I've removed some bits of Velcro that were here. I need to get the glue off. Probably use diesel with more heat to get the sticky stuff off. The citrus bath was actually done okay, better than I expected. So it's not really a clear before and after. There's big black bits of the coke on the inside of the exhaust, which is good to remove. I've given it a quick brush, and yeah, like, they're clean. There's like, that's the difference between not in the bath and in the bath. So I think a bit longer, a bit more citrus acid, a bit more boiling water, and could be on something there. The carbs, let's have a look at the carbs. not over the moon with them, to be fair. Just enough. The 4 jets at the front, 4 air jets. Separate one. This one is blocked on all of them, except for this one. It comes out of that hole there. So that needs clearing, and this isn't working. The hot water solution is not getting it done. So next plan is to take it into work, put an ultrasonic bath, or buy an ultrasonic bath. You do need an ultrasonic bath, I think. They're just a bit goopy. Other than that, it's all coming along together all right. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, so that's a bit of a shame. It's not, today it won't be completed today. But yeah, we'll clean it up another day, and might do a few bits on the engine, oil and filters and coolant and stuff, just to get that ahead. Yeah, needs a new tank obviously, so there's a bit of shopping to do. I'll have to organise stuff now, so I can sort of leave it be, and have it organised in boxes and stuff, so don't lose any screws. That's it really. I'll give you updates tomorrow.